Hello and welcome back to the Author Roundup, a special segment of the Book Connection Show where we meet up and coming indie authors and talk to them about the recently released books. Welcome back. Again, this is Ray Walters. Our guest today is no stranger to courage, both on the battlefield and in life. He served as a U.S. Navy hospital corpsman aboard the legendary USS Missouri, where moments of war, sacrifice, and service tested not only his skills, but his very sense of purpose. His memoir, Invisible Wounds, The Great Lie, is more than a military story. It's a raw, heartfelt account of a man who loved his country even when it didn't always love him back. Through his journey, we see the visible scars of service and the invisible battles veterans continue to fight long after coming home. Today, he joins us to share his story of resilience, advocacy, and hope. Please welcome Shelly V. Chaney. Hi, Shelly. Welcome to the show.
You're doing, Ray. Thanks for having me.
I'm thrilled to have you today and to dive into your work. But how has life been now that this book is out? Congratulations, by the way, in getting this book published.
Thank you. Well, I've been the same. It's quiet, you know, can hear crickets. Nobody's really got nothing to say.
All right. Well, Shelly, again, thank you for sparing us your time to be on the show today. Let me go ahead and dive in. So your book's title is Invisible Wounds, The Great Lie. It's a memoir. What I wanted to do is to establish your motivation and the turning point from private experience to public testimony. So, can you please tell us what first inspired you to write the book, and when did you know that your personal story needed to be shared publicly?
Well, I decided to write the book when I was told by an individual that I lacked the character and fitness to represent a veteran.
Oh,
But when I heard that, I didn't really know how to take that. It took me a while to process that as an individual because I flashed back to everything I'd gone through. For someone to say that to me, it really unexpected. I'll just say that. Um, Even though it occurred, I still pressed forward to try to reach my goal to help veterans. But it took about 2 or 3 years. And then I filed an appeal against the judgment that they had made. Uh, Unfortunately, a year went by.
mm,
And when I contacted them to find out what the status was, I'd found out that they had been sitting on my appeal for 1 year and never processed it. That's when I realized this story is bigger than me. I need to get a book published. And so I began publishing the book at that time.
okay. You write candidly about growing up in an environment where people doubted your worth. How did those early challenges shape the man and the veteran you've become?
Well, as a child, you know, growing up, I grew up in Compton. And having someone tell you, based upon your demographics,
Mm,
that you're not smart, you're not good enough, and things I choose to not care to share, um, it it hurt. But I knew inside of me that that is not me. Just because they say it doesn't make it so. So I continue to strive to be myself and try to find myself amidst all that chaos. It didn't really come to me, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. I
mm,
carried it with me until on board the Missouri when that first mine exploded. Everything that society had led me up to left me. That's when I realized that all life matters. Color has nothing to do with it, and everybody that's here needs to go home. And that's pretty much what led me to know that life is important. Everybody matters.
agree. Shelley, why did you choose to serve as a Navy hospital corpsman? And what did you learn about yourself in that role?
Well, like I said, I grew up in Compton, and
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people get hurt. A lot of the bad things happen. Um, And the one thing I never wanted to do was take anyone's life unless I absolutely had to. I believed in helping people, saving them, trying to change our persona of what we do and how we interact with one another in a more humane fashion. So I felt the hospital corpsman was the best way to go. And doing it, I found out I was exactly where I needed to be.
All right. Um, your memoir captures the intensity of serving at sea, including real combat moments. So, how did those experiences change your understanding of life, morality, and purpose?
Well, for me, I realized that it was not just about me. I mean, war, you never know if you're going to be the one that goes. No one wants to, but the truth of the matter is, I don't want to go, but then I also don't want my fellow comrades to go either. We all matter. So everybody has a responsibility and a purpose, and it's important that we all do our jobs to ensure we all come home.
Okay. You describe not just uh, battles abroad, but also battles with identity, prejudice, and belonging. How did you find strength in those moments when your loyalty and worth were questioned?
Well, it wasn't easy, but I had to realize that no matter what someone says about me, it doesn't make me that person or that thing. I know who I am inside of me. I know what I want to do. I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to take anything from anyone. Sure, I want to prosper in life, but I don't want to harm you to do it. Why don't we do it together? Which is what the military taught me. You teach each other. Knowledge is shared, it's not harbored to yourself. And you grow together. As you grow, everyone around you should grow, which means we're all equal.
All right. Shelly, let's explore your growth under pressure and the values instilled in you during your service. Now, field medical school and deployment with the Marines pushed you to new limits. Um, what did you learn about leadership and resilience in those environments?
I learned that a true leader will never ask someone to do something that they themselves are not willing to do. To actually see leaders that actually give a command and are out there doing it with you, now that's a leader. But unfortunately, there are a lot of leaders that they leave from behind a desk and they dictate to the employees, and that creates conflict. Um, and sometimes a hostile environment. But in the military, we don't do that. Everything we do it together as one unit. And that's
Okay,
what I learned.
all right. I'm curious to know uh, about the core struggles of reintegration. Uh, Tying into the book's schemes. We're talking here about many veterans say that returning home can be harder than deployment. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced during that transition?
Wow, it's a tough question. Um, Honestly, for me, it's to leave a structure that everyone works together as one unit and there's no bias as to what we're doing. To come from that to a structure to where it's every man for himself. There's
Mhm.
no unity. The concept of team is different in the civilian sector in comparison to the military. We leave no one behind in the military, but in the civilian sector, you're all by yourself.
Mhm.
If you make a mistake, they eat you alive. It's your fault. How do you put that? Um, an example. Now, I'm in medicine, but so a good example would be a doctor has a responsibility whenever they make a call to a ward to give a verbal command over a phone to
Mhm.
provide a specific treatment to a patient.
Mhm.
Now, the nurse is responsible to go ahead and ensure that they do what the doctor stated. Now, here's where the problem comes. The nurse goes and does it. The patient has an adverse reaction, and the doctor will blame the nurse because the doctor did not do his job and go to the ward to ensure that after the nurse did that, the patient was okay. So the doctor can walk free and the nurse gets creamed. They lose their license, they lose their job, or they're sued, or something of that nature, and the nurse did absolutely nothing wrong. Not everyone does their job like they should in the civilian sector in comparison to the armed forces. We don't do that. We make sure that if we're responsible for tasks, we get them done.
That's really a tough one. Shelly, let's connect your personal hardship to your broader mission of serving fellow veterans. Now, your daughter's medical struggles became part of your own fight with bureaucracy. How
Yeah.
did that personal battle influence your advocacy for other veterans?
Person that requires benefits, especially when it comes down to healthcare. Healthcare is the art of healing whenever possible. It's
Mm,
not an absolution, but the smallest thing can create an adverse reaction in an individual's life. When they're entitled to get care, all the care they are entitled to should be received. It should not be neglected because of cost or
mm,
anything of that nature. I mean, this is someone's daughter, someone's wife, someone's husband, cousin, uncle. I mean, these people have people that love them and care for them. And healthcare is designed to provide the necessary treatments whenever possible. But
yeah.
unfortunately, you know, they run it as a business now. And because of that, it's losing the art of the actual profession.
Okay. You also founded Devil Doc Consulting to help veterans navigate the claims
Yes.
process. So, what
Yeah.
did you hope to achieve that the system itself was failing to provide?
Well, the main thing I wanted veterans to know is that someone cares, and they're paying attention to what's going on. The way the system is designed now, veteran meets a representative, they hand them a piece of paper, and the
Mm,
veteran will write down conditions that they can think of at that moment. Now, here's the problem with that. There are hidden wounds inside that veteran that have become normal because veterans are taught to adapt and overcome any condition or injury they may have to get the job done. And we take
right.
that seriously. So it'll happen so often that that injury becomes normal. Whatever that pain is, whatever that discomfort is, the veteran will suck it up and take it and forget about it. Doesn't mean they're healed. And because of that fact, and it's not written on that paper, it gets missed, but it's sitting in the record. And that's why you need the veteran and the record together to be reviewed at once. So everything goes in at one time, not
Okay.
fragmented like it is now.
All right. You talk about hidden or struggles that are hidden or are ignored. Now, the title of your book, Invisible Wounds, suggests these struggles.
Yes.
They're often hidden, they're ignored. What do you
Yes.
hope readers come to understand about those unseen injuries, both physical and more so on the emotional side?
Well, that's really difficult because there's no standard answer for that. The one thing I know is if you do use the methodology I'm trying to employ, you can catch those. Every veteran has a story of their own,
True.
and each veteran requires a different form of care and attention. The only way you can catch that is to have the veteran present with the medical information and give them the opportunity to let you know what's going on. That doesn't take place at the current time.
Okay. If you could sit face to face with policymakers or leaders in veteran care, what message from your journey would you want them to hear most clearly?
When you call upon us, you don't have to wait. We're there on time. We're there immediately. We don't get a mulligan. We don't get to make a mistake and say, oops, I'm sorry, we're working on it. No, they do. And it's bad that veterans are held to a standard that the system that we protect does not hold itself to. That is the flaw that veterans face when we come home. We do a
Mm.
job that they don't even come close to accomplish. That needs to change.
Shelly, to close this short discussion, I want to ask you this question. Looking back on your service, your sacrifices, and your battles, um, after after the uniform, What do you want your legacy and this book's legacy to be for future veterans and their families?
Every man and woman that's ever served deserves a form of respect from the people they have defended. Um, that doesn't mean we're better than anyone, but we're the ones that allowed everyone else to be at home, eating ice cream, going to the park, going to the movie, having a wonderful night. We're the ones out there getting shot. Um, when we come home, the least that can be done is you take the consideration to the harm and damage we've caused ourselves for you. There is no reason that anyone should have, I mean, how do you put this? The institution is sworn to care for veterans. There is no chain of custody signed when we turn that paperwork over. That's where the problem begins. If you are swearing to medically care for these veterans, how can it be that you rate a veteran for, let's say, a knee injury or an ankle injury? And that's the only thing that they can remember at that time, and they write it down. But then when you look in the record, they have a cardiac issue. They have asthma. They have sleep apnea. All of these things are written inside that record, but the veteran forgot to put it on the claim form. They don't acknowledge those injuries. And in doing so, what you've done is caused that injury the ability to mutate into what we call a secondary condition.
Mm.
Now the veteran has two injuries because you didn't catch the first one. There's no excuse for that. And you can't ask the veteran to get a nexus letter. Now the veteran has to pay out of pocket for a condition that was caused by an institution that's supposed to care for them. Devil Dot Consulting was created to correct all of that. Give them what they need, like they give you what they need on time, not late, not years later, none of that. It all needs to change. The money is going everywhere, but it's not getting to the people that need it. I want to change that. That's what this book is all about.
Shelly, for those who are interested to grab a copy of your book, where can they go get one?
You can get it at barnesandnoble.com online. You can get it at amazon.com. Honestly, it's even in Miami University bookstore, believe it or not. I was surprised when I saw that. You know, the book is traveling all around the world. I just haven't heard how the public has received it yet, and I hope they enjoy it as much as I do. It's a very serious topic to me, and it's very important for everyone because this isn't just about me. It's about every man and woman that has ever served. It's time we get our just due.
Thank you so much for your service, Shelly, and thank you for your
Thank
time.
you. Thank you very much.
I hope you enjoyed this short discussion that we just had, and I'm hoping that you will enjoy the rest of the week. And with this purpose that you have right now, with this advocacy, I'm hoping for the best. You'd be able to help a lot more veterans in their struggles, just for them to know that someone cares and someone is willing to help.
They're not alone.
They're
They're not alone.
definitely not alone. Shelly, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm hoping to talk to you again one of these days. I also want to give a big shout out to our awesome viewers and listeners for joining us for this interview. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversations on the Author Roundup. I'm Ray Walters. Join me next time as we explore the world of supported self-publishing, one indie author at a time.